All right, so we're here with Curt Fluegel of PM Toolbelt. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about what this company does. Also, we'll be talking about the software ecosystem within the property management industry. Curt, I've known you for a couple of years. I knew you first because you had a local property management company. What's the name of that company?
True, that's Triton Properties.
And what market is that in?
St. Paul, Minneapolis, Twin Cities.
So how long have you been in the property management industry?
We've been doing it in some sort of about 10 years now.
Okay, and how did you first get into property management? Did you already own some properties on your own? Was that kind of the entry point?
Yeah, I actually started by purchasing properties, and at some point we had a lot of properties. We either needed to hire a management company or become one, and I'm more the guy building one.
Now, how did we pivot from that to software?
I actually came from a software background, so once I got the company mature enough where I didn't have to run day to day, I can't help but to look for needs in the industry. So.
Okay, so you're scratching your own itch. Okay,
yeah.
Makes sense. All right, so tell us a little bit about PM Toolbelt for those that don't know.
Sure. The main product we have is called Maintain. Maintain is software to handle all the maintenance side of your business. So there's obviously, everyone has management software. Think of this as maintenance software. So we're going to handle the tracking of your guys in the field or tracking of outside vendors. We're going to handle receipts, handling all the materials that you buy. We're going to take all that information and actually sort of in real time be able to build an invoice for you that actually is based off of real numbers. So not someone turning in a timesheet, but GPS logged. So your owners know that's the correct time, that sort of thing.
So we're looking for accuracy here.
Yeah, a lot of accuracy and a lot of automation. So things that you'd be typing in by hand, we're going to track. A lot of reporting, just a lot bigger insight into the maintenance side of your business than you could have.
So where are your customers typically at before they work with you? Like, what's the status quo that they're kind of pivoting from?
Well, again, you probably have management software already, and so we're a flip side of that. So we're looking usually at companies that where maintenance is becoming a larger part of their company. So usually 200 units plus, that sort of thing. Or if you have any internal maintenance staff, of course, then it's sort of a no-brainer.
So one of the things that I think it's interesting about your company is, having worked the trade show, I've seen your booth, and you had a banner at one point that had like code actually on the banner, which is kind of novel. Talk to me a little bit about philosophically where your company is different in terms of openness and kind of just adopting some cutting edge trends.
Yeah, that is true. From the get-go, we had an open API and something that we thought for us is a big deal. I mean, you can go to api.pmtoolbelt.com and the documentation's there. We want integration, and I know from our sort of the first time we were there, our first launch, we met just tons of other, the smaller guys usually, but sort of had the same thoughts, same needs, right? That if we work together, we can help to build sort of the best of breed, right? We're really good at what we do, but we don't do everything, right? So you want this open system where everything can communicate.
So you say that you're focusing on the openness and the API. What I have found is that more and more is becoming just kind of like a baseline expectation, openness, having an API. This industry is a little bit behind in terms of connectivity.
Right.
I'm hoping that there's definitely more of a trend towards that in the future. Have you run into this idea of some of your clients looking for or kind of fantasizing about having one piece of software that does absolutely everything? It's your alarm clock, it manages your properties, it does accounting, it cooks bacon. We've run into that a little bit, and it's like, let's be honest here, it's completely unrealistic, right?
Right.
That is as rational as a property management company also having an accounting wing or a janitorial wing. Like, there's only so many things you can do well.
Right.
You guys are specializing in a really significant way. We're specializing on sales. I think 5 years, 10 years down the road, there's going to be more companies kind of filling these gaps, talking together, and so with a bunch of best-in-class pieces of software tied together.
Right.
Is that more or less what you're talking about here?
Oh, certainly. I mean, you look at probably most industries out there, right? You're going to find that there's API, right? That's the big word for software that can talk to other software, right? But we integrate with things like QuickBooks and credit card processors and all those sorts of things, and it's all very easy. You go to their website, you get their API, and you integrate, and that's typical. In property management, we're in a bit of a different spot right now, where there's sort of a bunch of big companies that aren't open, I guess, yet, and I would have to assume all industries sort of move that way, and if not, someone's going to disrupt and make it move that way. So I think at some point it only makes sense because, like you said, even the large companies do tons of things, but none of them do maintenance in the way we do, or no one does lead systems in the way you guys do. and they simply can't, right? Because they have to grow. Once you get big, you grow at a certain pace, and you have to maintain your base, and you can't just focus on one area and really build that out.
I'm sure it's the case with you, but we feel like we have a very long roadmap within the niche of the problem we're trying to solve. So we're going to keep getting better, but we're fundamentally oriented around one problem. We're not trying to pick 10 other problems that we're also trying to solve.
Right.
So in terms of going back to this conversation about the API, here's a question for you. If you don't have an API and you don't have a way to access your data, do you actually own your data? Is it yours?
Right. Well, that's a funny thing, right? Because in my mind, and that's our philosophy. I mean, clearly it's their data, and I've seen this obviously in my management company as well. If you change software or something like that, getting your data out seems to be this massive thing, which is hysterical because it's my data. I put it in, give it back, right? And it's funny because I know it because people ask us, they're like, well, what if I don't like you or whatever? And I'm like, well, it's your data.
Right.
Here's how you can get it out. Of course, it's yours. And it only seems common sense to me. It's my stuff, right?
So the export options, I mean, practically speaking, for example, if you try and export to a CSV, right, we're talking rows and columns. There's only so much you can express. No matter how many fields you have, there's only so much you can express in rows and columns and export in that format.
Right.
Some people talk about exporting data via an XML feed. Even if you get that, you have to have somebody else that's going to receive it and do import in the same way. Right. So if you don't have access to an API, I would say your options are pretty slim in terms of where you can actually port things to.
Oh yeah, we have to onboard people through CSV files, and every single one is a massive.
Rough.
Yeah, it's an absolute massive undertaking. That could be a button press, right?
And honestly, it's a programmatic undertaking because somebody sends you that CSV, and what you're not doing is the static interface and moving stuff. You're running some special commands and queries, some rejects to be able to actually reformat. We do that too. It's a total pain.
Yeah. It's impossible that you get perfect data, so it becomes this. We can't launch anyone same day, right? That's just a fact. It's going to take a matter of days just to get a single client going to get that data in there.
Okay, well, hey, I think we're on the same page, and I think that we're hoping that 5-10 years out, this trend will continue. There will be more openness. Last question I have for you is, what is the future of your product? We've both talked about kind of specializing within this one problem, but how do you guys tend on building and developing the product over the next 1 to 2 years? Yeah,
well, and actually I have to admit, when we first launched, we claimed to have 3 products, and we were going to get them all out there, and I had that same thing, and as we sort of started building out Maintain, we realized like you said, the roadmap is so far out, and it is so much bigger than we thought it would be. And even as a programmer, I knew that. I guess as a sales guy, I got too ambitious. But we will continue on that product. And again, our obviously our large hope, the API type integration is a big deal for us. No one wants to double enter things. So we'll continue to do that and dispatch and all these very specialized things. And that will keep us busy. I'm sure it's kept us busy for the first couple of years, and will keep us busy for a few more.
Awesome. That's really exciting. If people want to find out more about the product, where can they go?
Just go to our website. It's just pmtoolbelt.com.
All right. Well, you heard it straight from the man. Hey, thanks for coming and talking to us.
Thanks.
We'll see you guys soon.
All right.